Hickok 45 here. Let's talk about the best year for guns. Pew! Yes, Colt 45, Peacemaker, Colt Single Action Army. That might be a clue what we think the best year for guns was, and still is, because all these guns are still with us. And that's part of the reason that our opinion on the best year for guns might just be, well, you tell me, what do you think we think? You see what's on the table? Trapdoor Springfield, Colt Single Action, 1873 Winchester. Yeah, 1873 was a very good year, and I don't know how you could come up with a year that would be overall a better year, although I'm sure some of you would have an opinion on that. The thing about 1873 is it wasn't just the first year, essentially, for these three classics, Springfield Trapdoor, Colt Single Action Army, 1873 Winchester, but also the cartridges they're chambered in. The 4440, called 44 Winchester centerfire at the time, the 4570, and the 45 Colt, you know? So the three cartridges, the three guns, you've seen a lot of folks talk about these. We've done it, and it is the year still, as we're talking to you today, the 150th anniversary of all of these, I guess you'd say, six wonderful items, the firearms and the cartridges. So 1873 to 2023, still 150 years. So I thought it would be, I thought they deserve to be talked about some more and bring all three of them out here and all three of the cartridges and just a little bit of a rundown, okay? And I know that most of you will enjoy it because you like these firearms. How could you not? How could you not? So yeah, there they are. And without further ado, again, we've got cartridges that are really, really worthy of celebration. Now these two look alike, but they're not the same, are they? We've got the big old 4570, we got the 45 Colt, and the 4440. So again, well, I don't know about starting at the beginning. Really, they're all the same year, right? But with the 45 Colt, this firearm that you know I truly love, enjoy. It had lots of iteration, prior to that, percussion, and then the open top. It was a cartridge. There were cartridge versions of it, and all that leading up to 1873. But this was the configuration in 1873 with the solid frame and not the open top, and chambered in 45 Colt that really took off, of course, for the Army, called Single Action Army because it was adopted by the military in that year, and they got the first ones, and it was in this barrel length. Okay, so again, 1873. If you enjoy history at all, you like the old guns and old cars or anything, you have to have an appreciation for a handgun that's been around this long. And you can go into most well-stocked gun shops today or tomorrow if you don't have time today, and you will find maybe not a Colt, but you'll find a clone just like this, a copy of it, maybe several, Uberti, Ruger, Vaquero, or something. You will find them. It just never dies because it's so much fun and it's so effective. And neither does the cartridge, the 45 Colt cartridge. Generally shooting about a 250 grain, 240, they vary in weight, 255 grain chunk of lead, and just a full 45 caliber, 452 inch usually, .452. Just so popular and has evolved a little bit through the years. They had a very, very small rim initially, and they've enlarged that a little bit through the years, but still essentially the same cartridge and essentially the same firearm, 45 Colt. Great. Many of you have them. A clone, a Ruger. Ruger's not actually technically a clone, the Vaquero, but it's very, very close. Same spirit, right? So Wonderful, wonderful. And I may shoot again before you leave. And then, of course, the Trapdoor Springfield, adopted by the military. That's another one that went through different iterations. You know, it kind of grew out of the old muskets, you know, of the 1860s. The Springfield musket, you know, they started out by chopping them up, the muskets right here, and creating a trapdoor. The early ones, or Erskine Allen came up with that, and there were several different chamberings and versions of that. And then in 1873, you got this version, okay, pretty much, all right, and you know, made this way, not converted from a muzzle loader, you know, because there were like 1 million of those things in the country after the Civil War, and so we were basically broke as a country. So they just took those old guns, figured out that trapdoor system for a cartridge gun, and that was adopted and used for a long time. And then 1873ish and along in there, then we started making them from scratch that way, not using old parts and old guns. Okay, and then for another 20 years, this was the adopted rifle. And guess what it shoots? This beautiful 4570 cartridge. I think the originals were like 405 grain, and then there were later some 500 grain rounds, but they were all very nice. All right, this is the full-length version. Do I remember where to hold? No, I don't actually. Okay, right there, I guess. On Mr. Gong. 4570, a lot of fun to shoot, and cartridge is very popular still today, right? Let's just pop a 2-liter with this thing. It will do it. So trapdoor, you see why it's called trapdoor. We have, I'll link to some other videos on these guns, but just a wonderful old gun, 4570. Looks pretty archaic today, but at the time, most of the world, you know, the militaries were using single shots, and this was as good as any of them for, you know, generally speaking, and shot a really, really nice, powerful cartridge. So, came in a carbine, which I have, as you know, and I think mainly the cavalry used that. Great rifle, great rifle. And same year, we're still talking the same year. Can you believe that? The old Winchester 1873. What a jewel. I got rounds in the magazine. This is the one that was given to us, donated, and made in 1886. And it is, it's not the smoothest or the best finish, but it shows wear, pretty cool. 4440. The cartridge came out that year. Center fire. The first, I guess, widely commercial grade cartridge. I think maybe it actually was predates a little bit the 45 Colt, and it was the same year basically, but 4440 center fire. Up until then, the Henry rifle and the 1866 Winchester, they used a 44 rimfire cartridge. Okay, rimfire, but center fire was big time, and then this rifle was big time, all steel frame, unlike the Yellow Boy, the 1866. Pretty cool, huh? Think we ought to shoot it. Let's see if it'll still shoot. 1873. There's a movie about this gun with Jimmy Stewart, right? Pretty cool. How about a 2-liter? Oh, you know, we got to shoot a cowboy, right? Put a couple on him. Oh, yeah. Nice. Got a couple left in there. So, yeah, big year for that. The capacity, that was a big deal back then, and a centerfire cartridge. You know, just a reliable rifle. Very, very popular for a lot of years. And all three of these are still being made in replica form. You could call it not, I guess they still, Winchester makes, I guess, the 1873, whatever Winchester is these days. But these are all still made by various companies because they're just great guns, popular, and so are the cartridges. These are all loaded by, you know, modern manufacturers of ammunition, the 45 Colt, the 4570, the 4440, and lead bullets and jacketed rounds and just about whatever you want there. So, 1873, quite a year. In my opinion, John's opinion as well, no year really surpasses that in terms of, oh, I don't know, innovation, new firearms cartridges. There's some that might come close, but when you think of the times, these were big rounds for the time. They're still alive and doing well, and as well as the firearms, if only, in the arsenal of hobbyists, maybe like some of us, but just very popular firearms. Changed the world in a lot of ways. Changed the world, with the range of the 45-70, the capacity and reliability of the 1873 rifle there, and of course the good old Colt single action was carried by a lot of people, long after the double action revolvers were popular. Just extremely ergonomic and effective in most of its chamberings. So, you might not agree, but I think 1873 was a very good year. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. Really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.